I wanted to look into the old school DS game, a supposed ripoff of Pokemon, Fossil Fighters. In light of the hit game Palworld and the accusations that it's a Pokemon ripoff, I wanted to look back in time to another mislabeled Pokemon Copycat, which is Fossil Fighters. I wouldn't say that the accusations are as hard on Fossil Fighters as they are on Palworld, which is understandable, but I still think it's interesting how these accusations kind of come about every once in a while whenever there's a game that kind of resembles Pokemon at all. First, let's delve into what Fossil Fighters was. First Fossil Fighters game was released in the United States on August 10th, 2009. Looking back, the game was fun and exciting, and being able to fight with dinosaurs was pretty cool. The plot of Fossil Fighters revolves around the player known as the hero. Then the hero goes on to traverse different events and activities, doing good deeds like helping the Dig tribe, and as a kid, these characters kind of freaked me out. I don't know why, just the whole character's design just like wigged me out. In the storyline, the hero has to defend the Dig tribe, their treasure, I'm pretty sure, from the BB bandits, or as I like to call them as a child, the big booty bandits. It only seemed right. Also, seemingly, the 8-bit graphics did not do these characters very much justice. They look way better in their regular art form rather than their 8-bit art form, in my opinion. Most of the story involves battling the BB bandits, uncovering their leader, police chief Bartholomew Bulwart, and discovering the true intentions of the Dinosaurians, a dinosaur-like alien race. The plot culminates in a battle against the Dinosaurian King Dino, and the threat of the sub-idol comps wiping out humanity. Revisiting the game, this part kind of just blew my mind that it even got to these kind of depth, but the story does flow well enough that it kind of, you can interpret the game without being absolutely confused. The hero must make choices that impact the fate of the Earth and its inhabitants, ultimately leading to the resolution involving time travel, the origins of humanity, and the survival of Vivisor Island. Yeah, this game's oddly deep. Gameplay of Fossil Fighters involves the player accessing regions called dig sites and collecting fossil rocks. Each contains 1/4 of the dinosaur skeleton, head, body, arms, or legs. These fossil rocks are then scanned, cleaned at the revival machine, and incorporated into a Vivisor. Prehistoric fossils revived into supernatural forms charged with elemental powers. Fossil rock restoration process is a unique and different aspect of the Fossil Fighters franchise. In my opinion, the cleaning process was pretty tedious and felt like a minigame to waste time. Each team has access to 1 attack zone, 2 support zones, and 1 escape zone. Their starting positions are in the attack and support zones. Vivisors can use attack and other abilities by extending fossil powers, which is also known as FP. Fossil power can also be conserved between turns in an attempt to spend a large amount on a solid attack. Battle's over when all an opponent's Vivisors are defeated. Pretty self-explanatory stuff once you get into it. It's not a hard battle system to learn, but it's still pretty fun. The game is solid and has some very charming moments, which keeps the player interested. However, as a whole, there are many aspects of the game that can be improved. The combat can feel very repetitive. The dinosaur designs are simple and uninteresting. The characters are pretty one-dimensional, and the world exploration is lackluster at best. With all this in mind, getting back to the core of the argument, would this game really deserve to be labeled as a Pokemon copycat? In my opinion, absolutely not. Would I put this in a category of a Pokemon-like game? Yeah, I guess I would. Now, if we were to look at the game Palworld, on the other hand, I feel that I would have more to say on whether it was a copycat of Pokemon, but I feel like that should be for another video. The Fossil Fighter wiki page states that some reviewers found it too similar to the Pokemon series. Overall, the game was well received for its gameplay and environment value, despite some criticism. The reason I feel that people taken on this role of attacking other games for being Pokemon-like is simply because they're creature capture games, which is no good reason. Although the fandom of Pokemon has become somewhat ravenous when it comes to these Pokemon-like games, and I think this has been best seen with the whole Palworld drama. But a true understanding of both games reveals the clear differences. First, creature capture games. In Pokemon, players capture and train various creatures known as Pokemon, while in Fossil Fighters, players revive and battle with prehistoric creatures known as Vivosaurs, which seems very separate. While you're battling with creatures, it seems separate enough that I would not state that they're similar. Second, the gameplay. Pokemon focuses on turn-based battles, exploration, and strategic team building, while Fossil Fighters emphasizes real-time battles and fossil excavation. I guess you could say there's a similarity between these two, although if you've played the games, you can feel a distinct difference. Lastly, storyline. Pokemon games often feature a central character on a quest to become a Pokemon Master, while on the other hand, the majority of the story of Fossil Fighters is focused on solving a mystery. I find that games similar to Pokemon are kind of crucial to the game world. While it is unfortunate, it is highly evident that Game Freak is a very lazy company, monopolizing the market on monster battle games, a significant reason why I love Fossil Fighters so much. Not only is it a fun game, but it also keeps Pokemon on their toes. Looking at how the game was received back in 2009, the reception of Fossil Fighters, the game, was generally positive. In Japan, the game received a score of 32 out of 40 from a magazine, Famitsu. In the United States, the game sold 92,000 units in August of 2009, making it the 10th best-selling game for the month. Reviewers in America gave the game score an average between a 7 or an 8. They praised the game for being fun, having simple yet addictive cleaning, and enjoyable battles. In reality, I don't think that the Pokemon franchise has anything to worry about when it comes to games like Fossil Fighters, although I do think they can open gamers' eyes and show them that they shouldn't have to accept the half-baked games that Game Freak shells out. And this is where Palworld comes in. I know I'm gonna go over the aspects of Palworld in more depth in another video, but I just wanted to kind of incorporate my thoughts at this endpoint. Kind of just wrap up and express the connections in between these three games. And Palworld sold over 1 million copies in its first 8 hours in early access on January 19th, 2024. The number rose to 2 million copies within the first 24 hours, 3 million copies within the first 40 hours, and 5 million copies by day 3. People can argue all day whether or not Palworld is copying Pokemon, but what is essential is it shows that gamers love Pokemon-style games and want developers to produce games that feel like they put effort and care into them. And that's why I love Fossil Fighters. Also, 2 other Fossil Fighter games came out after Fossil Fighters for the DS. Let me know if you guys want me to make a video on these games. Thanks for watching.